Refik,
Hello.
welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome to such a small and intimate setting.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's clap.
No,
Clap. Yeah. All right, so thank you so much for being here. We know your achievements as an artist, a director, a trailblazer in AI. So many of us are eager to learn about your journey and how your career has developed over time. Can you share that overview of your career and also dive into your creative process a little bit?
yes. So first of all, super excited to be here with you all. Thank you, Dylan, and everyone at Figma.
Yeah.
I'm deeply honored to be such an amazing community together. Maybe we can show a quick video to talk about and share about, if possible. I'm a media artist, originally from Istanbul. And right now, practicing in Los Angeles, California. I have a wonderful team of 16 people, can speak 15 languages, and represent 10 countries. I was so fortunate when I was an undergrad student in Istanbul, witnessed the power of typography, design, photography, truly the analog and digital context of imagination. In 2008, I was very much first time witnessed the idea of a data painting. There was a class about a software called Pure Data. It's a visual programming language. That was a class under Peter Weibel, which we lost recently. And he's a pioneer director of a museum called ZKM, which preserves and protects artworks like using data AI software. 2008 was the year I was obsessed with data painting. The idea of data is not just number, but the idea of it's a form of memory. And this memory can take any shape, any form, any color. And when we liberate the idea from the Newtonian physics, like what can happen to data, and if it doesn't dry. And I was so excited about the computer graphics, and I learned about 3D design and 2D design, and then tried to learn about the computer graphics in general. And 2012, I was very much started a new journey in Los Angeles at UCLA. My mentor was Casey Rias, who invented processing. Maybe some of you is using. It's an incredible object-based programming language that allows creatives to write code and use any type of information. And last 9 years, 2014, opened the studio. The focus for me and the studio was art for anyone and everyone, and for any culture and background, and try to go beyond just a museum or gallery, but the idea of a public art. Art that can touch anyone's minds and soul. It can be on a street where there is no beginning and end, when there is no door or ceiling or floor, where art can be places that we don't even expect to be. In a museum, sure, but in a hospital to bring hope, in a school to bring inspiration, in a place that we just don't remember that art can exist.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Last 9 years, we worked with many brands and museums and people that truly want to give that positive message about how imagination, how technology, art, and science can come together, and how architecture can become a canvas, and how actually we can say so much once the design, the culture, now AI, and before data, and so forth, can create this new pigment, can create this new sculpture.
Yeah. So, again, you identify as an artist, master of AI, pioneer machine intelligence. But for a time, both the art world and the public world might not have recognized your art in the traditional sense. But there was this pivotal moment, and I'm wondering if you could describe for us when that changed and what the result was of that.
Absolutely. So first of all, 2008, now many years ago, I was even super felt disconnected from the art world. But this project, maybe some of you saw at MoMA in New York, I think was a very important last year. So invited by one of the most amazing curators, Paolo Antonelli and Michel Coe, and MoMA is one of the most, I think, important institutions in the world that was collecting Pac-Man and Tetris many years ago and embracing the idea of design and the future of imagination. So this project truly was a very different one from many projects. So what you see, of course, all Figma, I think in the design processes, these are one of the custom software visualizing the brains of a machine that is kind of finding a reason to create the art itself.
Yeah.
We work with 138,000 archives of MoMA and train neural network, and thanks to our NVIDIA friends and Jensen Huang, a long-time collector, we have a supercomputer that computes what machine could dream, and the other machine is real-time computing possible dreams of machine. So to do this, we literally transform a sublime scale two-dimensional media wall, and we use a special camera and a microphone. It was real-time hearing, seeing, and by the weather data, it was feeling. So the idea of a living painting, I guess. We receive around 3 million people, and the exhibition extended 4 times. And at the end of the period of the 1 year, we were able to understand that average viewing experience was 38 minutes.
Wow.
And that number was truly profoundly inspiring for art historians and curators and the society in general. And what is, of course, I think important is the work went to the permanent collection of the museum as a first generative AI piece, which was an incredible message to the world for other artists practicing in technology, data, AI, to say that there's recognition of the medium. And I think it was a very important message to entire art and design community.
Yeah. So it's also important to note that your work extends beyond digital into other various forms. Can you show what else you've been working on and the difference of all the mediums that you've been working on?
Absolutely. So I think the 2008, when I think about if data becomes a pigment and light becomes a material, we can really go beyond concrete, steel, and glass. And once we liberate the light as a material, I found many inspiring moments in the last almost 10 years, transformed many, many spaces. Here is Artec House in New York. We transformed the boiler room into an immersive environment that is 113 million New York images are transforming into these like a machine hallucinations. Like if a machine can learn, can it dream? Like can we enter that dream? With Zaha Hadid, which is an incredible building in Seoul called DDP, one of the last building, unfortunately, and fortunately she preserved an incredible canvas, and that's inside that incredible building, we transform entire Zaha Hadid archives, all her legacy, all her work to honor and her legacy. You can see that clearly in the work. We have so many works that transform, and also Walt Disney Concert Hall, Frank Gehry, a hero designer, artist, and architect of our hero. It was 2018, we took 100 years long every single information in the LA Philharmonic archives to celebrate the next centennial project and transform it by 42-channel projection. And thanks to Frank Gehry and his team, we transformed the building into a kind of a living skin, a canvas. And we received 100,000 people as a public art, open and free to everyone. And I think what was really challenging last year was also brought together 65,000 people together for one of my also hero, Gaudi, Antoni Gaudi's Casa Batlló, and one of the most incredible surface of a building. We were able to take a real-time data from the weather data of the building and real-time transform the building into a living canvas and brought together many people. It was fascinating to see how Barcelona came to hug the building. It was really special.
Yeah.
And the last one. So very grateful for you, Tudor Narowski, and the Sphere team. Last year, we were able to open this incredible form of architecture. The challenge was to create the world's, I guess, largest data sculpture. We were able to create this custom algorithm that takes our classical data paintings and transform them into this eco-rectangular transformation of those paintings. Some of them are real-time, visualizing the weather data. Some of them are pre-rendered and computed, given the scale of the building. It's a fascinating canvas. I really wish. And actually, next week, we also give our tools to students, and they are now visualizing new artworks.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating building.
So here's a slightly spicy topic I want to talk about. Part of art is criticism. And there have been critics out there who have said that your work oversimplifies data and technology. This is interesting to me because you've said AI is like a thinking brush and a tool, but not a main factor that drives your work. Tell me more about this.
So I think it's a very common pattern if you use AI to look at the history of humanity, which is not a too long time for AI, but I think what I found last 8 years, 9 years, we work with 5 billion images, more than 100 years long sound data, and try to look at, collective memories of humanity. Not the personal data, but look at the collective memories, collective consciousness, collective dreams of humanity. And the idea was like creating this thinking brush. And I think whenever in the history I believe that we have new ideas, new things to explore, I think that critique always exists.
Yeah.
But in the age of AI, I really question also the critique. Like what happens if AI knows better than, in that context, something different? But I think it's also important to say that digital art was blind spot for art world for many years. I think after pandemic, after the blockchain evolution, I do believe that things are changing. I do believe there's so many artists right now and designers pushing their skill set, thinking, knowledge, discourse, context to push boundaries and go beyond what is reality. And I do believe that critics always comes in the history of humanity whenever something new comes. And it's the voice of change. It's the voice of this new, inspiring, positive world to see what is beyond reality. And I do believe that critics can improve us. Critics can give us a new perspective.
Right.
But I still question who is saying and why. And if it's right, sure, let's improve ourselves. But in the other way, we can also tell this to anyone, anytime. But my best critic, the best moment, when someone on earth comes and hugs you, fascinating moment, fascinating time.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Like, who critiques you and who critiques your work?
So they're a little bit early show, but...
Oh, we're jumping the gun a little bit. So I guess we'll just jump right to it. Do you think that your work is going to positively impact the future of humanity? And if so, why? And on top of that question, what are you working on now?
That's what we are working on. Today we'd love to share this a beautiful new logo designed by Pentagram Friends, Georgia in New York. And it's our new AI institution called DataLand. I'm hoping to host you next year. In September, we will announce more. But the idea was after these years of experience with major museums and institutions, we thought that there is something missing. We know that very well that AI algorithms are the breakthroughs, and artists and designers will need more breakthroughs. And there's so much room to really push boundaries, these ideas. So we are very grateful for our Google friends and NVIDIA friends. We thought that maybe we can also take some voice, some perspective in the future of AI institutions. So DataLand is the very first AI museum and a Web3 platform. And in September, hopefully announcing more. And we'll bring people like yourself together to think about the future of arts, design, culture, technology, science, all type of sensories, and really challenge us in a way that is different. And to do this, we start from something very important, nature. I do believe all the current AI research focused on human reasoning, human intelligence. I do believe the most important thing we have is nature. The most important and the most interesting thing we have is nature. So we ask our partners, data partners, if they are part of this AI research. And we receive 500 million images. Wow. Smithsonian, National Geographic, National History Museum. And we look at the idea of a rainforest. Like, can we take nature as a system and inspire from it, not change, not replace, inspire from it and be the voice of nature? And it was a fascinating 1 year. Actually, last month, we were able to fine-tune our AI model thanks to NVIDIA friends at GTC. These are all not real. We were able to create a special data collection of 2.5 million species, flora, fauna, and fungi of rainforest, which is ethically collected and all open source data, and fine-tuned on just the purpose of science and education. And after that, we will take these data sources and the AI outputs and then turn them into a safe and secure AI research. And on the wings, you can see this is our text-to-video model, which is visualizing all the rainforest Amazonian flowers. And additionally, we are going 16 rainforests physically by our tools, such as LiDARs and photogrammetry, sound data, and even SAP flows of the trees and the living species to quantify and open source for the people around the world to understand and go beyond what is currently going right now. And these are some of the moments from last 1 year. And again, thanks to our Google friends, it's an all non-profit funding to really make this happen and outsource this data to the communities, because in the research, it's also very much missing moment. And I'm pretty confident that this type of AI research can bring positive impact for beyond just product service, but create something important, meaningful, and purposeful for humanity.
Yeah. And you've been down there, right?
Yes. And that's another maybe project to show you. This is called the Winds of Yavanava. When we think about data and rainforests, we forget who is living in the data. Right. And there's incredible people living in rainforests, protecting nature for us. Yavanava family are more than thousands of years living in the rainforest, preserving their culture and the rainforest. There are only 1,000 people, and only 37 people can speak their language. This piece you are seeing is our blockchain project last year by literally collaborating with the Yavanava young artists and designers. We complete on blockchain and transparent, raised $2.5 million to create their first museum, first school, and the first village.
Wow, that's really impressive.
I think it's heavily possible to use generative AI, use blockchain, and do something profoundly different. And I think there's so much to share, to do, as all communities.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident that these technologies will allow us to go beyond what is reality and hopefully bring inspiration, joy, and hope for us.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. See you soon. Thank you.